King off the mark straight away. And when we talk about matchups, favorable matchups in T20 cricket, it's not that Moeen, for example, can't get Brandon King out. But I think a greater focus will be on Moeen to Mayers, where in the matchup he's got Mayers out 3 times in T20 cricket. So that's one thing we'll be looking at. But again, I'll say it's not that Mayers can't take him down or that Moeen can't get King out.
It's a good tight line. No options there. Tight line on middle and leg. The first thing people will want to see is whether there's any immediate turn. I mean, turn tends to come in later in the day, but that new seam might just grip on this pitch, which has a bit of dead grass on it. I like those lines, because someone like Mayers, anything off the line of the stumps, and he'll start to, his eyes will start to light up a bit. Well, there's your first one. A little bit of grip for Moeen Ali.
There's a little bit of moisture in this surface, so that's something to keep your eye on. It's a gentle wind that's blowing across the ground. I think it's coming off or coming through the valley to the east of us. It's very, very light. It picks up sometimes and goes from off the leg as King is on strike. Three singles off the first over, 3 without loss.
Well, England will take that. The start to both innings in Barbados in the first match of this series was a lot more frenetic. What they need to do, of course, talking about England still, is to try and keep a tight rein over these opening 3 or 4 overs, first of all, to get most of the power play out of the way. So King on 2, Mayers on 1. It's been doing the trick, it seems, at least for that first over. We'll see what happens next, of course. Chris Woakes, one of those men who's come in for this T20 series for England. Resting he was during the ODIs. A man of immense experience. So one that England will look to for sure. Interesting field. There's the orthodox slip in position. There's a man just behind him as well on the edge of the circle, a short third. Neither of whom will be needed for that one. So she's into the action, first ball with a wide. Nice to have a nice easy decision to come in.
I'm a huge advocate of this, of getting, whether they're female or male, the umpiring, the officials into the men's game, that crossover. And I know she knows, she understands she still has work to do in being consistently good, but great opportunity. Just to remind you, the first female West Indian umpire standing in a men's T20 international between 2 full-member nations, and alongside her, Gregory Brathwaite, who's very experienced himself.
Yeah, I agree. If you're selected on merit, whatever it is you're doing, then there's precious little that anyone can say about it. I think merit is all.
Deep point, David, deep point and deep square leg for the seamer. And so often we're seeing it in the game. Left of your screen on the boundary and then right of the screen on the boundary, because a lot of teams feel unless it's a bouncy surface, deep third doesn't come into play as much as deep point or deep square leg, where they tend to pull length deliveries. Very good with no slip. that a scramble seam?
Yeah, all these precision tactics rely on that communication between the captain with the plan and then the cooperation of the bowler with the execution. So length is key here. And that's actually just a decent delivery. It's a little bit wise. It's just that little follow with the bat that tries to guide it fine towards the short third. Early pace off. I like that because normally or sometimes or usually it takes a long time for bowlers to think, shall I try one with pace off? It's an experiment which, just going back to that first game, Andre Russell said it took him to the 6th ball of his first over to realise that pace off would make a difference. So changing it up in the 4th ball of your first over, you don't know until you try it. And I think that's clever. I mean, I think that's, it gives them an option. It gives them a clue as to whether it's likely to be effective or not.
That is missed by a smidgen, missed. And assessing the conditions from a batting perspective is the real challenge in the shortest format in international cricket.
Yeah, good luck. This has hit something. This has hit the seam and just come back. There's no footwork, no real footwork there. It's a strolling shot. But that length has produced a ball which has done just enough to beat the inside edge, just enough to beat the stumps too. And what it does is, what it should do is temper the ambition when you're looking to play those early shots. Barbados was a good pitch and those early shots went a long, long way. 7 without loss. This is where actually winning the toss and bowling first might just give England a little advantage early on. There's been talk of rain in the area prior to this game, so if there's a bit of moisture in that pitch and a bit of movement off the pitch, that gives the bowlers what might be termed an unusual little something to work with.
It's hard for me to explain how much I love the development, the postmodernism that's taking place in this wonderful island. Moeen Ali. There's that deviation, that grip in a surface where we've had so much rain in the last week and moisture under the surface.
Yeah, well, in the space of 2 overs and 2 balls, there's been a bit of encouragement both for the spinner and for the seam bowler that these opening overs won't just disappear over the boundary willy-nilly. Something will happen, something has happened. Something's happened beautifully as well. So the response to that is Brandon King saying, well, if it's going to be anywhere in this sort of arc, it's going to go as far as normal. That's beautifully struck.
It's what, from Brandon King's position, he will think is a favourable matchup, hitting with the spin, with the wind. Again, I'll say it's not that he can't be dismissed by it, but he sees it more of a matchup for him, facing off spin that Kyle Mayers does. Average score batting first here in recent T20 internationals is about at 170, 173. Interesting to see whether this pitch is conducive to it. Good adjustment into the pitch.
Yeah, and that's an interesting risk to take because there is a little bit of grip. Wasn't quite short enough to be entirely sure of the turn and bounce. I think you saw him coming that time as well. That's the alternative. Go straight at the ball, go down the pitch. I love it. You've got to be absolutely perfect in the timing of the movement. If you get it right, and the bowler's most of the way through an action, it's your advantage. If you go a fraction too early, someone with Moeen's experience will just drop it shorter.
Has he hit it well enough? He might, he might just. That 6 hitting prowess, 2 in the over, 19 without loss.
It's a good battle. It's a really good battle. These are two very, very well struck hits as well. First one was flatter. This one had the elevation, had the distance. Yeah. Never in it, Fielderbrook.
Athletic Stadium to the left at the bottom of that picture, the Olympic gold medalist and world champion of 2011-2012, Vokes. Awesome power to follow up the six of the last ball of the previous over to their delight.
Yeah, the error from Wokes was, again, fingers across the top of the ball, but the length and the width. That width is something that this man just absolutely loves. Left-handers in general love it. As soon as you free up those hands through the offside, it starts to count as a gift, not one to be turned down. It was unwrapped and opened well ahead of Christmas.
That might be 4 more, and El Rashid stumbled to his left, but was beaten by the pace of it. So Mayers into the action to follow Brandon King.
Yes, because he's quick with the hands, quick with the feet. Balance changed very quickly there to allow the shot. And it's these fine margins. Just a yard too short, possibly, maybe a yard and a half. Oh, Mayers thought another present had come his way as well. He was ready and waiting for that. Just too early on the shot. Toe-ended it.
Cutters early, the order of the day, taking pace off it. We talk about sizing up the conditions early, so it took them a couple of overs before King launched into Moeen Ali, and Mayers now with 2 boundaries in this over.
Yeah, that's a better length. If you're going to take the pace off, then you want exactly this. You want a mistimed drive. That can end up an extra cover. It nearly ended up at third there. But that's why these skills have to be so precise in this format of the game and at the top level, because slight errors get punished. Get the length right, get the pace right, then you're in the game still.
Thing I'll say is that Brandon King took all 6 of Moeen Ali's deliveries last over. That's playing the percentages and the matchup. It'll just be 1. So now I think Moeen Ali wanted to bowl at Kyle Mayers. It didn't happen. Will we see someone like one of the left-handed seamers coming into the attack now? Maybe to replace him.
Yeah, quite possibly. Might depend on what happens this ball. If King gets back on strike, that could affect the thinking. If Mayers is on strike, equally so. Now, there's some concern, it seems, about those footmarks, those footholes. Seem to be wearing pretty quickly. Might just be the result of the fact, the thing that's been mentioned a few times in the build-up today, recent rain in this part of the world. They haven't quite had the time to solidify that pitch and those footholds. I mean, those footmarks are so important. It's an assumption made around the world that those creases will be solid. I mean, the bowlers of this world need something to put big feet on, don't they? And they don't want a crater. They don't want something that looks like a nascent volcano underneath their feet. Nothing that's crumbling away. So it's a vital part of it. Otherwise, what happens is if a bowler like Wokes, the quick bowlers have to, as it were, sidestep the crater, then they're going to be bowling from places they don't necessarily want to bowl. So everything changes, and that psychology as well, bless it. You know, everyone has a rhythm. Everyone has a place they want to be when they reach the crease. And if that's artificially changed, that just upsets that rhythm. But there is a bit of a break, an interruption. It's hot out there today, over 30 degrees. Quite humid, of course, as well, seaside conditions. So an impromptu water break. Two great strikes from Brandon King. One flat, one high, both of them clearing those boundaries by just enough.
Well, that spoke to the matchup that we talked about with regards to the right-hander taking on the off-spinner. So I agree with you. Very important that from that end they get the bowlers, well, from any end, the bowlers' foot marks. One, with an absence of moisture, and two, by extension, compact enough.
You know how so many things have moved on in this game. New techniques, batting and bowling, fielding, lots of changes, formats, you name it, but one thing remains the same. If there's a little bit of moisture, what do we turn to? Sawdust. Sawdust has been there since time immemorial.
In some parts of the world, this is drying agent. Sawdust is a thing of the past. A thing of the past have been the ODI series, where the West Indies won the first, lost the second, won the third, and then the first T20. And the important thing, folks, wherever you are looking on in the world, is to look at the margins or criteria of victory. Every game so far, anyway, have been one chasing. Teams are struggling. These two teams are struggling to understand how to set a total, at least up to now.
Yeah, it's the way it's gone. I mean, the one game that England won in Antigua, they won probably by the most comfortable margin of all. There's hundreds of balls, 800 balls to spare in that 50-over match. The others have gone to an extent where they've been close or close enough for quite some time, and then just in the closing overs, the chasing side has done what is now very common. And that's always been deemed the advantage of chasing. I mean, sometimes you get it wrong, of course, but if you've got the abilities, you know, you can chase down big things. 29 without loss. After those first couple of overs, very quiet or relatively quiet overs, 1 and 2. Few big blows, run rates up to 7.25 now.
West Indies 29 without loss. They were 47 after the first 4 overs in the previous game in Barbados, and Moeen Ali is out of the attack. Sam Curran replaces him, interestingly, from around the wicket. And just to give you an idea of where the two deep fielders are, they're at deep mid-wicket and deep backward square, so he has to bowl a very tight line on the stumps, you think. And does so immediately.
Yeah, and also from pretty wide on the crease, so that angle was always in towards off stump. And the Sam Curran thing at the moment, we've seen good and bad from him on this tour. And what I'm sure he just wants to get back to that feeling where he's confident each and every ball of what he's doing. So he's had let's say, a few ups and downs.
If he does go outside off stump, it'll have to be pace off, I think, but largely it has to be straight. Good use of the feet from King.
Yeah, what's clever and special about this from Brandon King is that he's decided to make something out of this almost immediately. Watched one ball, assessed where Curran is likely to be trying to bowl, even though that was fingers across the top of the ball, a very early take pace off the ball. Even so, that shimmy down the pitch got Brandon King into the perfect position.
good hand on it from Joss Butler. Once you get out then, David, outside of this first 6 overs, which we call the power play, where there are more fielders allowed outside on the boundary, then you get to see Rehan Ahmed, Adil Rashid, Sorcerer the Apprentice, Liam Livingston, Jacks perhaps. But pace off, that's on this slow surface, the order of the day up to now. You can see the grimace on the face of King.
Well, that's whatever a multiple is of pace off. It was pace off with a bit more pace off and yet more pace off.
So then we have to see how the pure wrist spinning options come in on this surface.
Yeah, it's a game where it's dangerous to make big statements, but these 3 balls in succession since the boundary have shown that Curran is very much up for this battle, very aware of the things that he needs to try to stymie the ambition from Brandon King, but 1 ball left.
Make them drag your slower ball to your deep fielders. Don't overpitch it. Make them drag it. That's very well played, because he tried to make him drag it, but King got enough power to go down the ground. 37 without loss, 5 gone.
Chris Wokes for his 3rd. Picked up well. Square of the wicket is extremely strong for Kyle Mayers, who continues to show promise. Hello, Samuel Badri.
Yeah, 3 sixes already in the innings. Remember, West Indies hit 14 in game number 1. England only hit 6. That's a difference of 8, and they're continuing in that vein. Clipped nicely by Kyle Mayers. It's always challenging to bowl 3 overs in succession in the power play. And this is what Chris Wokes has been asked to do. Starts off with a 6.
Can't go past Manali. It's been interesting as well, the way, the length especially that they bowled to Mayers. I thought when Wokes started his spell, Sam, he went fuller and a couple of times went past the outside edge. Since, though, they've tried to get him to play a lot of those cut shots. We've seen that pull for 6.
17 dot balls in the innings so far. That's the only thing that I'm looking at as well. Yeah, so they're scoring a lot of boundaries, but they're also conceding a lot of dot deliveries. Kyle Mayers in T21 first delivery dispatched on top of the Greenwich and Haynes stand. And then again, double dose when it's nice, do it twice. So belligerent mode from him. He's strong, extra cover, strong offside, leg side, and really gave the West Indies the start that they needed in what could have been a very tricky chase.
Goes straight up. Will take some catching this because of that swirling wind, but excellently taken by Sam Curran. England have their first.
Yeah, this is something we shall look out for throughout the course of this match. Those slower deliveries, it was on a good length as well. Kyle Mayers trying perhaps to go leg side, was the off cutter, therefore leaving him. So a leg cutter to the left-hander, and a good catch in the deep. Mayers goes for 17 from 16, 43 for 1.
The incoming batsman, Nicholas Cook. Nicholas Cook, the incoming batsman. And Mayers gone for 17, called caught by Sam Curran bowled Chris Wokes.
Nicholas Pooran comes in at number 3. Something we saw from the West Indies in that India series, trying to maintain that left-right combination. If King gets out, they send Hope. If it's Mears, they send Nicholas Pooran. He's had an excellent year in T20 international cricket.
They're one of the most destructive T20I batters in the world, T20 batters in generally. Kyle Mayers trying to capitalize on the final over off the power play. Didn't get the distance he was looking for. Very well judged catch in the end by Sam Curran. And success eventually for Chris Wokes. A very difficult over to bowl, the last one in the power play, particularly when no wickets have fallen. He's done well. Went for 6, first delivery, but he's come back strongly. Slip in position now for Nicholas Pooran.
Just is able to get it past Mills. Really well placed by Pooran to start.
Yeah, good start. Maybe not intentional, or maybe it was. He opened the face, got it fine, and fine enough. I have a question for you, Nikhil. If Nicholas Pooran gets dismissed, do they go to Shimron Maya and push Shea Hope further down to keep that right-left combination? We shall find out if that happens. Last delivery of the power play.
I think that England will take that in the end. 11 from the over and the wicket, 48 for 1.
And Nicholas Pooran, 5 from 2 balls.
Second T20 international, Spice Isle, Grenada. End of the first power play. Another strong start for the West Indies. Wasn't the easiest of surfaces to start on. They assessed conditions well. They've got a set Brandon King at the crease, and we know how much power and depth they have. Adil Rashid, at 4 for 2, came against the West Indies at the 2021 World Cup. Long off and deep cover for Pooran.
#100 T20 international wicket to Adil Rashid in his 100th T20 match. That last game, picked up a wicket with his very first delivery. Very experienced. And just look at that. His skill, his decision making, his execution. Googly for the left-handed Pooran, just to put that in the back of his mind.
It's gone very high. This is a big opportunity for England, and Wokes makes no mistake. Adil Rashid, as always, strikes crucially.
Yeah, Nicholas Pooran trying to take him on. Only his 5th dismissal delivery. Picks out the fielder. Chris Wokes at long on. Again, a lot of height, but doesn't have enough distance. Well judged catch. And England, they've gotten 2 wickets in quick succession. Nicholas Pooran, for the 2nd time in the series, fails to make an impact with the bat. Goes for 5, 48 for 2.
Shea Hope developed in into a role this year of negotiating the spin in the middle overs. Got himself off to a good start in that last T20 International. Will be important again today against Rashid and Ryan Ahmed. Slipping plays straight away.
Slow and loopy from Adil Rashid, as he's so often done in his career, just bringing his team back, bringing England back from a good start, a solid start from the West Indies. Picks up a wicket in his first over.
Look for two here. Just one. Just to give some insight into that catch, and even the first one. Catching here at this stadium is not easy. We're so close to the Caribbean Sea that there tends to always be that swirling breeze. And obviously, Wokes had the sun to deal with as well. You saw that right hand. Menacing start, 50 for 2. Deep batting lineup for the West Indies. We saw this partnership complementing each other well in that last game, Ryan Ahmed and Adil Rashid. They've done so all year for England in T20 internationals. He's had a good outing in the Caribbean so far, the 19-year-old.
Yeah, the master and the apprentice working together. Shea Hope instead of Sherman Atmire. I think that's the right move. Shea Hope can negotiate the spin well. He's in good form. And yes, you want to maintain that right-left combination, but then you don't want to push Shea Hope further down the batting order. And so, to me, this is the right move. He can consolidate for a little while, build a little partnership. When he's set, we know he can be dangerous. Clean them up. Ryan Ahmed, following his mentor Adil Rashid, picks up a wicket in his very first over. We've seen the potency of that googly. What a delivery.
Yeah, remember Ryan Ahmed dismissed Shea Hope in that first game, right after he hit a maximum. This time, though, pegs back the off stump. Such a crucial wicket. All of a sudden, England wrestling the momentum.
But what a young talent, and really high expectations now of this young man. And how special it is for England to have both Adil Rashid playing at perhaps his best, as well as this youngster coming through. A googly pick by Brandon King to complement him. Also, credit must be given to the English management, Nikhil, and viewers, for playing both of them in the 11. Lots of teams might think about just playing one. They've decided to give them both a go to see what they can do.
Beautiful Ryan.
I wonder if Jason Holder, who we saw in that last series, gain a promotion to counteract Adil Rashid back in 2022. I wonder if that's an option. End of 8, 54 for 3. is a picturesque stadium, rich history. Speaking of history, what a legacy this man has created. He's still looking to add to it. He'll be a front runner for that T20 World Cup in 6 months' time.
Just look at the flight from Adil Rashid. If you want to take me on, then go right ahead. And that's what he's asking Sherman Meyer to do. Last 30 balls, 31 runs, 3 wickets. Edged and taken. Faster delivery from Adil Rashid. Caught at the crease, and Sherman Meyer just manages to edge that one. 2 wickets in 2 overs for Adil Rashid.
And the West Indies in deep trouble now. They've lost 4 wickets for just 11 runs. Caught in 2 minds, Sherman Hetmeyer. Excellent deception with a change of pace. He is so crafty.
His team in a bit of a crisis here at 54 for 4.
Probably was outside the line. This is a challenge for the West Indies. Wrist spin has always plagued them. Gonna face a lot of it in this series especially. Livingston is another option, remember, who we saw in that first T20 International.
Just the pace. Look at how slowly he's bowling, and he's varying it at times. Yeah, he switched on. He doesn't even want to concede a single, Adil Rashid. Faster one, front of the hand. Sherman Hetmeyer, indeterminate stroke. Gets the outside edge and a sharp catch. Moeen Ali makes no mistake. Now this one went sharply to Moeen Ali. Good position. Thought about going reverse, but in the end decided to go regular. Good height in the end for him as well.
The boundaries have really dried up for the West Indies. 55 for 4.
Yeah, Rashid, what's his figures? 2 for 3 from 2 overs. Good start by the West Indies, partnership of 43 for the first wicket. But then they've lost 4 wickets for just 11 runs.
Still batting to come. Akil Hussain has got 41 in T20 cricket. Alzarri Joseph can strike the ball. Moti's got a first-class 100. Job is for these two, both Jamaican batters in the middle for the West Indies. Of course, Ryan Ahmed continuing.
Yeah, some turn. Good pace, much quicker than Adil Rashid. But have a look at what he's done so far. 59% of his deliveries in that full area. And that's where he's taken the 2 wickets as well. So on this surface, that fuller length seems to be the one that is working for the spinners. It's 2 wrist spinners, yes, Nikhil, but it's 2 different types of wrist spinners. Ryan quicker through the air, relies on his googlies.
Very straight and much needed from King. First boundary in 21 deliveries for the West Indies.
Yeah, that was the googly, but it was a little too full. And so just a step hit for Brandon King, straight back past his head. Needs to continue to do this whenever a run scoring opportunity comes his way.
Again, 2 minds. Saw it from Hetmeyer. The inside edge.
You're not sure whether to play on the front foot or on the back foot, and in the end, caught in no man's land. Did well I suppose, to get some bat on it. Yeah, you see, you can tell from his body language that he too wasn't too happy with that decision.
Intrigued to see past this game how Rodman Powell and this team back the two wrist spinners especially. Took 5 wickets in that last game. They were positive against them. They've dominated thus far. Halfway stage of the innings, 63 for 4. Time for some reflection. Blue Waters drink spurt.
Glorious sunshine here in St. George's, Grenada. It is one of the jewels of the Caribbean, the Spice Isle, known more for its spices, but the waterfalls, water sports, the aquatic life is second to none, really. I highly recommend this island. It is growing exponentially. There's been a lot of restoration work done post the hurricane. A few years ago, 63 for 4, West Indies experiencing a little storm of their own with the spin bowlers, Ryan Ahmed and Rashid, going to work post the power play. Chris Wokes picking up the other wicket. Tells you a little bit of the challenges of this surface so far. Adil Rashid will continue. Stacey and King alongside me. Stacey, how are you seeing the next 10 overs of this innings?
Afternoon, Ian Bishop. Afternoon to everyone. It's been a bit tricky. There's been some uncertainty from the West Indies batters. It's cost them a few wickets. But the adjustment from the English bowlers has been exceptional.
So we're seeing some turn, and my guys tell me that at a similar stage in the previous match, there's been at least 1 degree more turn of this surface. And you spoke about the moisture at the bottom of this surface from the rains this week. I think that's having an effect on the grip. But we also saw that one out of the front of the hand from Adil Rashid that is supplementing closely. Out of the front of the hand. So there's a lot for King and Powell to contend with.
I like the adjustments from the English spinners. They've been flatter and faster. They've looped a few deliveries. They've invited some big shots that got wickets. I think it's just the uncertainty from the West Indies batters. has always been a challenge for this West Indies team to set a score batting first. Well, even England, but in this case, West Indies 67 for 4. It is showing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've mentioned it a couple of times. England in the ODIs and in the first game. Challenges knowing what is a good total, how to segue. I wonder if Adil Rashid bowls another over beyond this. He's now completing his 3rd over.
Russia.
68 for 4. Been a challenging start for the West Indies. England won the toss. If you just joined us, made the decision to chase Timal Mills. We'll be hoping to be better in this encounter than in the first game a couple of nights ago. Will we see, I know this is right up your street, Stacey, and the left-handed seamer. Will we see him with a lot of those back of the hand, slower deliveries on the surface? Straight away he goes to it, straight away out of the back of the hand.
Yeah, and using the pitch and the surface quite well. Yeah, back of the hand. Rahman Powell playing for the shot that possibly wasn't there. Needed to look at that delivery a bit longer. Yeah, but you expect to see a lot of cutters from the seamers. A good follow-up delivery as well. Yorker length this time.
It's glorious, isn't it? That view is just spectacular. They're one of the volcanic islands in the Caribbean region. Kirani James Athletic Stadium, mentioned it before, to the left, next to the ground. Darbo Hills in the background. Stacey and King, you pointed out the Yorker, the ball before, and maybe the attempted one here as well. Saw a former England captain this morning, and he was saying, where's the Yorker gone? Why aren't we seeing more of it?
Yeah, scramble seamed as well. I think this is good from an English perspective because they only bowled seamers in the power play in Barbados. So this time just 1 over of spin, but their seamers, they've learned quite quickly.
That out of the back of the hand, not given a wide. Jacqueline Williams said no, saying to Rahman Powell, her countryman, no, not good enough.
Exceptional first over, back of Dion again.
Right in the slot with pace on it. Very muscular from Powell.
Yeah, the option to come over the wicket, not working around the wicket, not working for Timal Mills. Pulled 4 deliveries prior, and a opted to switch the sides, cost him 4 runs.
4 deep fielders leg side. So he has to be straight up, perhaps pace off into the pitch. Oh, pace on. Very good carry. 72 for 4. A lot of visitors in Grenada this time of year, and they would be walking along the Carenage, walking back from the game. As we look around the ground, quite a few, not as many as I thought, because there's the fort just down the road from here. Yes, Rashid is keeping again his 1 over as he did in Barbados for later on, replaced by Rehan. Is it hit well enough? Yes, it is hit well enough. Chris Wilkes is shaking his head down there at long off because he thought it was mishit.
A rare over-pitch delivery from Rehan Ahmed. A good stride, good connection, good hitting from Brandon King. Releases some pressure.
Let's pull your length back slightly. No, he goes full and gets away because Rashid, the old boy, did very well there at short fine. Top fielding.
Yeah, that's what having a team like West Indies for 78 for 4 will do. It will bring out smiles. It will bring exceptional fielding because the bowling has been good.
Better length. That's where I thought he would have gone the ball before. Straighter and a better length.
And I don't think Ahmed will mind this. He doesn't mind batters going at him because he tends to pick up wickets with his variations.
Oh no, he won't be happy with that though, Rehan Ahmed. Wilkes did the hard work and got to his right. Adil Rashid will be saying, look at me, look at what I did earlier.
Yeah, a few balls earlier, saving runs, and this time giving away runs. It just came off his knee. And Chris Wilkes, 10 runs coming from the over thus far.
That will be 50 for Brandon King. Played with poise, elegance in relatively tough conditions. But this has been serene from him. Another 50 in the locker.
Okay, good striking from Brandon King. The only batter that seems to have really taken to this pitch. Yeah, 33 balls, 4 fours and 4 sixes. An important innings in the context of this match.
He had 8 half-century, and remember, he missed a lot of activity between the start of the ODI series and the CPL that went earlier in the year because of injury. So we're starting to see him gain a little bit more fluency, ball change. So it's anybody's guess what a good total is, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got Brandon King and Powell there. 34-run partnership thus far. Both can hit the ball. Powell just playing the supporting role in this innings. But we know what he can do.
Yeah, we'll come back to what we've seen Powell do in the past. Come back to it. 53 to King, 89 for 4.
The most expensive over of this innings thus far. 17 runs coming from that Rian Ahmed over. That really helped West Indies. Partnership 35 from 29. It's 89 for 4.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with you that Rian Ahmed doesn't mind getting hit for a field, but you'll be regretting the volume that came off that last over. It's a challenge for the spinners that you have to be able to accept a couple of blows. Masqueraders are out. Going back over the wicket, pace on. We talked about Robin Powell. I saw him score 100 against Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali last year in a T20 game in Barbados. And there is no way I would be the most surprised man in the world as I look at this to see Gudakish Moti walk in next. I'm just teasing our graphics department. If Moti walks in, I walks out. The old boy again, showing that age is just a number, Adil Rashid. And Liam Livingston hasn't bowled a ball yet.
Yeah, he's bowled 2 for 8 from his 3, and you can say he's saved as many runs.
Terrific slower ball, terrific length.
4 wickets have fallen. Kyle Mayers being the first. A good catch from Sam Curran. Nicholas Puran trying to take on the spin, again being dismissed. And she hope in 2 minds, a bit of uncertainty whether to go forward or backward. And Hetmeyer, again, that uncertainty with spin on this pitch has been effective for England. This edge didn't slip.
Jamal Mills just having some running repairs on his boot. There's so much more to discuss. Has Shimron Hetmeyer lost his way in international cricket? So Shea Hope dismissed twice in this series in similar fashion. We're seeing Brandon King back to his best.
I think it's a really good innings from him thus far. Just the way he has been able to adjust and score on this tricky pitch. He brought up another half century. He's on 54 from 36. A strike rate of 150. The current run rate for West Indies 6.67. They'll want to get that up to at least 10 so that they can get a respectable total. Possibly 154. Yeah, Mills, well, he's tried everything over the wicket, around the wicket. He's been good with the pace off and back of the iron deliveries. Even use some cross seam deliveries as well. Let's hope that a change of shoes or running repairs be another change here.
You mentioned those cross seamers, especially on a surface like this. Some guys, we saw Russell do it quite a lot. Some guys do it. Rabada does it to grip the ball better sometimes, or to get it to hit the lever side and slide or hold up on the seam. Then they'll go cutters, as you mentioned, rightly mentioned. or that back of the hand delivery. Now we saw him slide one out of the side of the hand in the last game. That will go down in the mind of Jamal Mills as a poor delivery with pace on it again, right in the slot of Robman Powell. Attractively played.
Yeah, just missing his length by a very small margin, just too full. Searching for another Yorker length delivery. But once it's in the slot for Robman Powell outside off, given width, he will go hard through the offside. Has to pull that length back. They're going around the wicket this time.
All about length. He has climbed into that. That is the power that we've known and Powell said they possess in this engine room in the middle. 100 up for the West Indies.
You're just trying a bit too many things in Jamal Mills. That's just too short of a delivery for Robman Powell. Their eyes open up bright. 11 runs coming from this over already. 100 for 4.
One for 4. Jamal Mills leaving the field. We assume it's temporary. I think Ben Duckett has made his way onto the field. Rian Ahmed was struck for 17 off his previous over, so Adil Rashid is back for his final. He's been a star again. One of those wrist spinners that has changed the perception of the strength of wrist spin in the T20 format.
Will be a bit of cat and mouse here because Powell is going to back himself to play his shots. Rashid has been very tricky. He's bowled slower, he's bowled faster. He's varied his pace. And most important, he's been economical.
And I don't care how quick he is. I don't care if he comes from the land of Usain Bolt. You ain't getting two there, Ruffman. And then Brandon King as well, I suppose. Go back. I just want to say this about Hetman and wonder. So Hetman there, whether he's just lost his way, and particularly in 50-over cricket, as we look at that last delivery, grip. I think, Stacey, he's been so in and out of the team, and there's been such a focus by him on so much T20 cricket, and more so franchise-wise. I know he scored a half century earlier this year in Florida and last year. Just wonder if he's struggling to find a balance to segue between the longest format, as hard as he's trying, and the shortest format. That is taking him much longer to find that balance again.
A 50 partnership comes up between King and Powell, a 50 from 40.
It's a very good over and a very good partnership, as you said, given what had gone before. 104 for 4.
For fans with a Caribbean issued MasterCard, visit that website to get a 20% discount. England versus the West Indies tickets. And don't miss out on the opportunity. This has so far been a high-octane contest. Game 1 was very exciting. Hopefully Game 2 is just as entertaining. 104 for 4, the West Indies being sent in by Jos Buttler. Got a decent start, 43 for the first wicket, lost 4 wickets in quick succession, but this partnership has brought them back into the contest, and with 5 overs remaining, 6 wickets in hand, the likes of Andrew Russell in the hot. These two very well set. How many can they get? You know, what a return to international cricket for him in game number 1. Player of the match, career best figures with the ball. Unbroken 49-run partnership with his captain. And for all the strokes that Rovman Powell has played, he's only 22 of 22. England just received a caution for that stop clock violation. Inside edge, we will get a boundary, fortuitous though it may be. Rovman Powell moves on to 26. Hello, David Gower, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, crucial 5 overs coming up as to see or whether or not we see West Indies rescue the situation to the extent they can still win the game, or whether England keep them down. Inside edges you can do nothing about. Can't set a field for them.
Slapped. That was absolutely smashed by Rovman Powell. Sat up, and he could have hit it rather anywhere. Hits it for 6.
You could almost say he took the hardest option. It's not a shot that we will find in cricket coaching manuals as such, but what he's done is he's waited on the shot first of all, slapped it away, way over extra cover. Very much the shot of a man in form and enjoying himself. Now we've had a conference between bowler and keeper captain Jos Buttler. This is the thing about that shot clock, the clock at the end of the over clock thing. You can still talk in the middle of the over.
And again, that is monstrous from Rovman Powell. He is a powerful player and he's showing his quality.
Well, I've no idea what the chat was about, but Powell has just ignored whatever conversations were going on and has fed on what was a back of the hand slower ball short of a length, not executed well, and he has just absolutely feasted on that.
66 of 44 this partnership. 16 runs from 3 deliveries so far. Make that 17 from 3. Under tremendous pressure here, Sam Curran doesn't know where to turn. Rothman Powell, well, he's tormenting them at the moment.
This is one of the ironies, isn't it? Sam Curran, shall we say, a year ago, was good at this sort of stuff, thrived on the pressure. And if you lose just that little bit of confidence and the execution just starts to suffer, this is what happens.
Wow, that was the best of them so far from Rothman Powell. We've seen a few sixes being hit. 9 in the innings so far. This was glorious.
Well, if there's a slot, that's it. But he doesn't seem to miss. This is the really impressive factor of all this. Those 3 very different shots from 3 very different deliveries. All of them have gone the distance very, very comfortably indeed. So you've got power. Yes, Rothman Powell is built with power in mind. He's a fantastic striker of a cricket ball. But this is what I was saying just now for Sam Curran. A year ago, he might have had answers for this. A year ago, he might have outguessed a batsman, or at least not gone for all 3 sixes. When you see that ball disappear time after time after time, questions just bounce around inside the brain. What next?
Yes, still 2 deliveries remaining. 23, the most expensive over of Sam Curran's career so far. And again, it keeps getting even more expensive. Losing adjectives to describe Rothman Powell brings up a 50 in only 27 deliveries. It's carnage here in Grenada.
It's awesome, absolutely awesome. The only thing understated about this innings was the acknowledgement to the crowd of the 50. The striking is absolutely brilliant. So consistent, so crisp.
He's raced along, Rothman Powell. .30 runs of 8 deliveries, Rothman Powell, an acceleration of some note. And West Indies in their last 30 deliveries, they've scored 66 runs without losing a wicket. Lots of discussions between Josh Butler and the bowler already in the over. 29 runs, final legal delivery. Yeah, and it's a wide. Much to the bemusement of Sam Curran. Left it alone. Rothman Powell didn't want to have anything to do with it. Via square leg deemed it too high.
Well, yeah, the signal came from Gregory Brathwaite initially. Just have a look at it now from side on. He digs it in, seems to stick in the pitch as well. Yes, straight away he just looks round the umpire as if to say, you are going to call that, aren't you? And the answer was, yes, I am.
Does he get enough of it? What a catch! Simply sensational from Harry Brook. Rothman Powell holds out in the deep. Very expensive over, but Curran gets the wicket of his final delivery in the over.
Well, it's cost him. He's certainly had to pay plenty to get this wicket. Just flicked away. Now, the power of Powell sometimes might have been enough, but that is a brilliant catch from Harry Brook. At absolutely full length, diving away to his left, gets both hands on it. But a brilliant 50 from Rothman Powell. 50 from just 28 has given West Indies real hope here. 134 for 5 with 4 overs left. Well, that Powell innings has certainly changed the dynamic of this West Indies innings. you go back to previous encounters at this same ground here in St George's, 173 is the average score in T20Is. We're 134 for 5 with 4 left. And 10 and over would get up to that average score, which of course keeps things competitive. And the way things are going, West Indies will be aiming at more than that. It's not quite a Yorker, so there's just something to work with for Rodman Powell, but not quite enough. If he'd had a freer swing at this, maybe we'd have been seeing yet another 6. But that short arm jab, the flick of the wrist, it does bring a brilliant catch. That is one for the memory books.
Bludgeoned. That is brute force from Brandon King. Short, but hits it straight back past the bowler again.
Yes, one of the things about Rayan Ahmed's bowling, the one flaw sometimes is that this very quick action of his drops it short. And when it drops short on a pitch like this, opens up the opportunities.
Over extra cover this time. One bounce. Brandon King is taking over from where his captain left off.
Well, it was always going to be a fair guess, wasn't it? Once the first ball was short, batsman thinks, what's the bowler going to try and do? He's going to try and get it up a bit further. So if you go and meet it like this, in a preemptive strike, that opportunity again presents itself.
A red dot delivery has been high octane these last few overs. 74 of the last 30 deliveries. And again, in the gap again, power again, 4 again. Brandon King, when he hits them, it's difficult to stop.
Well, again, it's the advantage of having someone batting who's been there right from the start. Well set, seeing the ball well, but it's just that length.
Yeah, 4 sixes in that last over, 3 fours already in this one. And 6 more, gets the height, and all the way. 18 runs from this over so far. The crowd on their feet, they're enjoying this entertainment, royal and regal.
Well, it's an extraordinary shot. You just get the absolute impression that's where he always wanted to hit this ball, almost wherever it pitched, because it was still that little bit short. The length gave it the bounce that it could work with, even though it was still wide of off stump. So an extraordinary shot.
Yeah, lots of discussion with Jos Buttler and his bowlers. It has been an onslaught from the West Indies. A dot to end, some consolation for Rayan Ahmed and England. He finishes his 4, 1 for 47. West Indies 152 for 5.
Well, it's all part of the education for a young spinner, isn't it? But just look at those last 2 overs. Wickets in the middle, peg West Indies back. Recovery period. Then now just the blast. This is the time for the blast at the end of these 20 overs. Still 3 to come. And West Indies looking increasingly strong here.
Yeah, those the last 2 overs. Most expensive of the innings so far. Sam Curran's was the most expensive of his career. 1 for 38 from 2. Timal Mills back into the attack. Andrew Russell has quietly made his way out to the middle, hasn't faced the delivery yet. Give the strike over to Brandon King, who's been bludgeoning deliveries left, right, and center. has been there from the start.
Yeah, that makes sense, whether you get bat on ball or not. The leg bye just allows them to swap ends, so allows the man who's started to unleash now as these closing overs emerge, but striking the ball so well. He's the one you want on strike primarily.
Yeah, completely befuddled Brandon King. Still manages to get a single. How many dots in this innings for the West Indies? 49 dots. But again, their six hitting, their boundary hitting ability makes up for that. 11 sixes, 13 fours. So it is not as apparent, those dots. 154. Still a few overs remaining. 2 after this. Can they get to that 190 mark? Yeah, good delivery. Opportunity for fans. A chance to bid for and potentially own one of the West Indies shirts as worn in the West Indies versus England series. You can bid for your hero's shirt as worn on the pitch. Go to matchoneshirt.com for your chance to own a piece of West Indies history. Doesn't really get hold of it, David. That last few overs where we've seen that explosion and acceleration. What did England do wrong, or what could they have done better in your view?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For Sam Curran, he's had this up and down couple of weeks, hasn't he? We saw him expensive in the first ODI in Antigua, then a recovery, got wickets for the new ball. It's all about... It's these fine margins I talk about so often. But getting the combinations right, getting the lengths right, getting the lines right. And if you're, it can only be sometimes, 12, 1 foot, 2 foot offline or off length more especially, it presents opportunities. But I think we saw, some of those poor deliveries, and they're made to look even worse by the quality of the batting, by the strength of the hitting.
A quiet over, a good one from England. Only 4 conceded. 156 for 5.
I mean, the thing there, just comparing, for instance, Curran with Mills. Both left arm, Mills with the extra pace. And actually, there was some movement there, whether that's reverse swing or something, I'm not quite sure, but there was some movement away. And that extra pace, a little bit extra bounce. Whereas Curran's pace means that he has, almost by definition, to be yet more precise. He's got no pace, and got the extra pace that sometimes gets you out of trouble.
Six bowlers used by Jos Buttler. 2 wickets for Rashid. Look at his figures in comparison to the rest. 2 for 11 from 4. Chris Woakes for his final over. Picked up the first wicket to fall, that of Kyle Mayers. Bowled 3 in succession in the power play. Now tasked with the responsibility of bowling the penultimate. Very straight, deep in wicket, long on. His fielders on the leg side deep. Down the track, just a single. Can Russell flex his muscles here?
Look, where's ball?
Well, he might as well try, that's for sure.
Sorry? Did you ask? Inside, please. Umpy. That's middle. Thank you.
West Indies folks were 134 for 5. And they were 54 for 4. That partnership, Brandon King and Rovman Powell, really brought them back quite a long way. That was hit a long, long way. The first of the day so far from Andre Russell. We know he can pack a punch.
Good length ball. This lands on a length, disappears into the sky many a mile.
Yeah, that's just Butler at the toss. What's the plan to sort of restrict the West Indian batters from their 6-hitting ability? Just a single. He has protection in that direction, so generally that's where he would want the batters to be hitting the ball. Deep point on the boundary, extra cover on the boundary, long off on the boundary. And so the plan from Chris Wokes is to ask the right-handers to hit there, so his line has to be outside off stump.
And full. See, that was, again, by the barest of margins, just full enough. You can imagine if that was a yard shorter. It's not a full half volley by any stretch of the imagination, but a little bit shorter, and you can see the bounce as the batsman get underneath it. But if you can get that Yorker length in on that line, then the options become minimal. And that's where all the cover is on the boundary on the offside. So even that low full toss before works. Easy game from up here. Terrible game down there when you've got the power of the likes of Rovman, Powell, Andre Russell, Brandon King in fine form. Trying to outguess what the batsman's thinking. Trying to fox him.
Yeah, another good over. 2 good overs in succession. Just 9 coming from the second to last over, 165 for 5.
Well, on a normal day, West Indies would certainly cruise by the average score here at Grenada. We'll see whether this is normal, subnormal or abnormal in the next 4 or 5 minutes or so with this final over coming up.
Timal Mills to bowl the final over. That was creamed. The minute it left the bat, there was only going to be one result. Pace on and disappears for 4.
My word, you can feel for the bowlers here, can't you? This is not that far off. And I think the easy answer, the best way to look at that is to give credit to the shot, credit to the batsman. Positioned him in the crease, positioned himself in the crease so well. Yeah, pace off. He's thinking, ooh, could I have picked that a little sooner, because hand comes off the bat. That's always an indication that you're way ahead of the shot. Still gets bat on ball, still gets the single, still got 4 balls left between Brandon King and Andre Russell, who takes the strike now.
Can he muscle a few over the boundary ropes? That's what he'll be hoping to do, Russell. cry of despair from Russell. Very muscular swing.
Just look at the shape. 3 times now, I think, in the last couple of overs from Powell Mills. We've seen that shape, whether it's reverse swing or not, doesn't matter. It's gone away from the right-handers with a bit of bounce too.
Yeah, and from around the wicket, Russell very deep in his crease. Maybe looking for something short. Only Andrew Russell can play that shot with that power off balance. He was stretching, his feet were off the ground and still manages a 6. Muscle Russell.
Just imagine if he'd left it, it would have been a dull, boring wide. Somehow, and it is absolutely unbelievably extraordinary how he's managed even to reach it, let alone hit it so far at the same time. I hope someone's got a still photograph of that somewhere, because that would be a brilliant cricket pic.
Slower delivery works finally for Powell Mills. Short, slower one. Russell threw the shot early and gets the wicket.
Well, yeah, sometimes it works for you. It's also come back in. That pace-off means the bounce isn't quite so extravagant either. Shot completed way before the ball got there, so good disguise. Not exactly a full-on celebration, because England know these last few overs have been mighty costly. But Andre Russell, 14 from just 10, leaves the park with 1 ball still to come in this West Indies innings.
They got hold of one. Andrew Russell, a really incredible shot. Means therefore that Jason Holder has 1 delivery to try to make some bit of a connection. Powell Mills picks up his first wicket off the series, wicket-less in game 1. West Indies will be very, very happy with the way they fought back. 63 for 4 after 10 overs. The last 10 have been quite productive. Final delivery. Jason Holder makes connection, but not enough. Holds out in the deep. 2 wickets to end the innings for Powell Mills. He had no choice, just 1 delivery and had to go for it. Might have been another slower delivery. It's something that the West Indian bowlers can learn from.
Well, these are the things that ultimately can make a difference. If your last 2 balls go for 4 and 4, or if your last 2 balls pick up wickets, well, those 8 runs can be crucial in this form of the game. So, yes, West Indies have done a great job in fighting back and reaching 176 for 7. Yes, at the end of it all, England might be feeling a bit bruised and battered in the field from the second 10 overs of this 20-over game. But those first 10 overs at least gave them a sort of bowling platform to work with. Take those early wickets, and you've taken steam out of the early part of the innings. You can imagine what would have happened if the early part of the innings had matched the second part. But West Indies will feel they have got themselves out of a deep hole. West Indies will feel that they have something to work with now in the field, as England will try and chase down the 177. But just look at the way Robin Powell led from the front yet again. 50, brilliant 50 from just 28 balls. Brandon King played all the way through the innings. A very, very important, a vital hand from him. Had to work out what was going on at the start, had to accelerate at the end. 82 from 52 for him, and some fascinating figures. Problems again for Sam Curran, going at 19 for over. Rian Ahmed going at nearly 12 and over, but picking up that 1 wicket. Adil Rashid, outstanding by contrast, 2 wickets at 2.75, but it's all over to the batters now. Okay, let's drop downstairs. Stacey Ann King is with Brandon King.
Brandon, thank you for joining me. Congratulations on your 70-20 international 50. How was it batting out there? You opened the innings, but how was it batting out in the middle?
I found it quite difficult to start. You know, it's the type of pitch where a lot of things were happening. It's low and slow, and you know they were getting spin with the new ball, so it was difficult to start.
Yeah, how do you think England bowled on this surface?
Yeah, I think they assessed pretty quickly and realized that you know cutters and slower balls were very effective on the pitch, and they went to that pretty early. So they didn't make it easy for us. Fortunately, we got a good partnership in the end there with me and Ravman, so we ended up with a competitive total.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on your batting all wrong in the middle? How did you assess the conditions?
Yeah, as I said, it was difficult to score, so you know that you have to run hard between the wickets, you know, any opportunity you get, and try and get rid of the bad balls when they do present themselves. And that's what I tried to do, and it worked out for me today.
Was that 100 anywhere in sight? You finished on 85 somewhere there, but was that anywhere in sight for you, or
No.
was it just about getting run to the team?
No, to be honest, I was just thinking about how much we could get. You know, we set ourselves a target, and we're pretty happy with how it turned out.
Thanks for joining me, Brandon, and best of luck in the defense.
Thank you.
Unbeaten 82 from Brandon King. West Indies got to 176. It means then that England will need 177 from their 20 to level the series. We'll take a short break. On the other side, we'll have some analysis of the first innings.
Well, we have a game, we have a match. The roller on the pitch here in Grenada in the interval between innings. England wanted a target. They've got a target. It's 177. But one of the men absolutely key in making sure it was that many was Brandon King today, who has shown us some of his best form. His second highest ever T20 international score. 82 not out, saw it all the way through. Judged it well, had to work out at the start what was going on with the pitch, but stayed the course and played some glorious shots. 8 fours, 5 sixes in that 82, his second best score in this format of the game, just behind the 85 not out against India, in of all places Florida, earlier in the year. So Brandon King, outstanding today. So welcome back to all our listeners and viewers across the world. Halfway through this second match in this series of 5 between the West Indies and England in this glorious location, which is St George's, Grenada. And 2 men in particular have given West Indies a chance here. West Indies asked to bat first. Brandon King's 82 from 52 balls, carrying his bat through the innings, has given them a real chance. But Rodman Powell as captain again, 50 from just 28. 3 fours and 5 sixes for him. That was the turnaround for the West Indies, who after those early wickets found themselves in a spot of bother, but they seem to have dug themselves out of that hole. So the average score in matches here over the years, 173. They're 3 better than that. Some fascinating figures for England. Problems again for Sam Curran, just 2 overs, going at 19 per over. Rian Ahmed, not everything has gone his way today. Picked up a wicket, but was Cosmic. 11.75 per over for him. But just look at Adil Rashid, the experience and guile and skill of those 4 overs, picking up 2 for 11. Stark contrast to the figures elsewhere. So West Indies know they've given themselves a chance here. All depends on how they bowl, how they field, how they catch. The catching was outstanding in match number 1 in Barbados just a couple of days ago. If they catch like that again, that'll help things go their way. But for England, the story is that as soon as that coin came down in their way, Jos Buttler decided earlier today that chasing was his better option. Well, he's got a challenge on his hands. But he is one of those 2 men striding out to bat as we speak. Buttler and Salt, the opening partnership in this T20I series so far. And they got off to a cracking start in game number 1 in Barbados. Whatever's happened over the last few months with Jos Buttler in ODIs, especially, that's been the bulk of his workload the last couple of months. Whatever's happened there, his figures and abilities in T20 cricket are outstanding. So he will be a key element now of this chase. Stacey Ann is alongside. What's the key for West Indies, do you think?
And alongside Butler will be Phil Salt, as you mentioned. 348 runs, an average of 23. And that strike rate over 150. As a best of 88 in this format. I think the key for West Indies will be similar to what worked for England. Using spin at the right time, holding on to catches, and pacers varying the pace, using the options.
Yeah, try it early. Take you back just an hour and a half or so, just over. In Chris Woakes' first over, it took him, I think, 4 balls to try a pace-off delivery, just to see what would happen. So often at the top of the innings, first 3-4 overs, people don't try that. So I'll be fascinated to see what happens over these opening overs. But first of all, it's going to be spin. Akeal Hussain, as is his way, as is West Indies' way. So that combination of arm balls that will drift into the right-handers. We saw how Salt took it on in Barbados just a couple of days ago. Took it on really well. Arm balls and the odd one that will be orthodox, trying to turn the ball. There is a bit of grip here. So Hussain to Salt, 177 the target. Oh, it's looped in the air. Oh my word, that would have been a horrendous start for Phil Salt and for England. Trying to tuck it away on the onside, the leading edge, just enough to loop it over the head of Hussain.
They're trying to work it into the leg side and gets a leading edge. It lands safely.
Oh, tries it again, this time finds the face of the bat. Salt and England off the mark with that single.
Have to be a lot more watchful, Phil Salt and Just Butler.
Left arm round to you as well.
Watchful but not uncertain, because that uncertainty brought wickets before West Indies.
Well, Butler almost falling into the same trap. That same sort of line, same sort of drift, and just stopping on the pitch maybe a little bit. This one not aerial though. A straighter bat, slightly straighter bat from Butler compared to Salt. That's nicely timed. And that will be the first 4 of this England reply. Beautifully timed, beautifully placed.
Now this is why he's at the top of the batting order for T20 cricket, Just Butler. He finds gaps so easily. He gets the scoring on the way.
It's a good stop this time. Yeah, Carmeo's just away to his right, very quick to get down to it.
Oh, yeah. That's the right here.
Slip comes in.
Extra fielder for that drive through cover.
Well, Jos Buttler hoping that the extra space on the leg side would provide an opportunity, but it doesn't. 5 from the first over.
A contrary start for both teams in the first T20. 13 runs from Hussain's first over, compared to 16 from Sam Curran's first in that first T20. And today it's been 3 and 5 respectively.
Different day, different pitch, different ground, different weather. Right, 5 from that first over, 172 needed and 114 balls. Jason Holder from the River End. A man of talent and experience, former captain of West Indies. They just need to get on with this over, don't they? They need to get this over started. 60 seconds, gentlemen. Plenty of space there towards a deep mid-on.
He's very well known, Jason Holder, for his pace-off deliveries. He uses those cutters as well. Again, his height will play an important part in those deliveries.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this is a pitch yes, you can score runs on it, obviously, because you saw the last 10 overs from the West Indies going the distance many, many times. So once you get in, once you get settled, you get timing, then you can make runs, obviously. But I've got a feeling it's a pitch where 2 or 3 minutes of reconnaissance doesn't go amiss. You can try that if you want.
Yeah, a few of those deliveries went for big hits when West Indies batted. Width on offer.
Well, he's called for fresh gloves, I think. You saw how the bat slipped out of his hand there, so strange, very strange, unless those are gloves he used earlier in the day in the warm-up and they're still moist inside for some reason, who knows. But he's gone for the new gloves. I'll be hoping that he gets a grip, as they say.
Might have a better grip.
Got the grip, but still no contact.
Just rolling his fingers down the inside of those deliveries, Jason Holder. So taking pace off.
Well, it's exactly what we were saying 5 minutes ago, isn't it? How soon would they go to this? Because it was an option that came slightly late in game one, but an option that worked really well for them. And with brand new ball, brand new batsman, it's always a good, I would say it's always a good option.
I think the difference is the West Indian bowlers are quite accustomed bowling those types of deliveries and taking pace off because of the pitches that we've created within the Caribbean. So it becomes easy. It's something that's always in their artillery compared to England, who had to bowl a few balls. A number of bowlers had to bowl a few pace on deliveries, then try their slower balls. It comes natural to West Indians.
It's well bowled. He followed him. A bit of movement in towards Jos Buttler as well. The other side of that same coin, though, which we'll come to in a moment, is trying to take wickets orthodox. 8 without loss after 2. Right, I flipped that coin. And one of the things, of course, you're always thinking also with the new ball is that if there is any movement around, be it swing or maybe off the hardest of seams, and you can get the deviation and you can get a wicket by what I might call traditional methods, well, any wickets at any stage, but especially early, are very, very valuable. So you've got that balance to try and strike. But West Indies will be happy enough to get England down to 8 off these first 2 overs. Akil Hussain, 4 men in the ring on the offside. Slip is in position again. The idea was to try and make space to get it over that offside, but Hussain has followed him well.
Which is why he has those 2 fielders in the deep on the leg side. He knows that he does not want to give too much width on the off for those deliveries, for that adjustment to be made, to be hit through the offside. And more adjustments being made. He wants a slip in play. And we saw a few deliveries just held its line.
The simplest of catches, accepted with glee. All those machinations work against England, but for West Indies, the field changes, the field placements, the skillful change of pace from Hussain, and an easy chance taken very easily indeed.
They had to play at the delivery because, again, he advanced Jos Buttler. So just pushed at that delivery from Akil Hussain and found Kyle Mayers. He goes for 5. It's 9 for 1.
Well, West Indies have what they wanted, an early wicket, an important one as well. So Will Jacks comes to the crease to join Phil Salt. Now, these two open in the ODIs, open to very good effect as well, but both need to settle. Clever bowling from Hussain. Still 4 balls left in this over. And they've gone back to the slip and the short extra as the two close fielders. But this is Butler not quite getting there. It's Hussain seeing him coming. And instead of the full-blooded shot over the top of that infield, it's a relatively innocuous poke into the offside and the simplest of chances. Well, he's away. Will Jacks is away with a lovely shot. Placed and timed.
He missed his length. Just too short. Salt had enough time to get back. Find the gap. Jacks, I beg your pardon.
One of the things that Akeal Hussain has done for years now is just mix it up in this opening over. He tends to bowl the first over in innings. Saw the leading edges, a couple of them. We've seen a bit of turn. So look, 3 or 4 going straight on with the arm, a couple turning. That's the challenge if you're up against it. Well, it's a good single. Had to hurry, had to rush it. Dre Russell, the man at mid-on. 15 for 1. At the equivalent stage then, after a mere 3 overs, West Indies steady starts. Hadn't lost a wicket at that stage. They were soon to lose some though. 19 without loss. England have lost their first for just 15. Maybe there's a lesson to be learnt from Brandon King, who played all the way through the innings. Holder. Well, he tried to do something about the advancing Phil Salt, tried to follow him, but overdid it, overcooked it.
Yeah, wayward delivery. Nicholas Pooran did well to get to it.
We need to call a taxi to get that far. Well, that's a good shot. Maybe anticipating, maybe premeditated, but with the man up in the circle, virtually any bat on this, that was going to be 4, but it's actually a straight ball which he's manoeuvred by going so far across to the off stump. This cat and mouse game that batsmen and bowlers play all the way through these T20I matches.
A good lateral movement from Phil Salt.
That's different. This is a different tactic altogether. Again, just that little shimmy with the feet. But what a contact that is from Phil Salt. So crisp.
He scored 39 in the previous match. Playing shots like these makes good connection. Sounds really good off the bat.
I mean, another wide. He went wide of the crease at the delivery point. It's just extraordinary. This is the pressure that someone like Phil Salt can put even on someone like Jason Holder, a very experienced performer in this form of the game. So twice he's overcooked it. He's drilled hard at mid-off, so hard that there's no run.
Very little chance to make a mistake in terms of the length he wants to bowl Jason Holder. Phil Salt might think he missed out because anything left or right to the fielder could have been runs, or even a little higher.
There's that crisp sound off the bat again. Yeah, that previous one, actually, I think the little bit of bounce, extra bounce that you get off the bowling of someone like Jason Holder just ease or just stymied the flow of the shot a little bit. Well, Jacks takes guard for the first time against Holder. Not the first time ever necessarily, just in this game. Got to hurry, just got to hurry, but the throw misses. Gets in a very good position with the throw, and that would have been curtains. Misses only by a fraction too.
Yeah, even if Jason Holder had gathered, would have been interesting.
Full toss gets clipped away. No. 30 for 1 after 4.
And 15 runs coming from that Jason Holder over. This is where things stand. 176. West Indies made in their innings, being sent into bat by England. Just Butler winning the toss. In reply, England 30 for 1, another 147 needed from 96.
Well, it's a reasonably solid start from England. But just to put that in perspective, the required rate is over 9s. Yeah, yes, this is T20. Yes, this is always achievable. But at this early stage of the chase, you know, it's approaching 10s, sort of a bit of a psychological barrier maybe. Well protected offside field. They pierced that barrier a couple of times between them, between Butler and Jacks. This time it's Salt who can't find that way through. Goes the other side. There is a man at deep square leg.
And because he has been the aggressor thus far, Phil Salt, Akeal Hussain opted not to use the slip against him, use the extra feeler in that offside, as you mentioned. And changed the feel for Will Jacks.
Well, that's clever. There's a bit of power involved as well, but the footwork was good. So the setup was great for Will Jacks, and this time Hussain didn't quite follow him enough.
Well, this has worked much better for England, using the lateral movement in the crease. So just making that step back to open up the offside scoring options, and he executes well.
Yeah, you see how far he's gone, and that ball would have missed leg stump as well. It goes even further this time. Still looking to get through that offside, but This time Hussein has been a bit more wily about it.
They're almost following him.
The chip. Unwilling chip is safe. Yeah, this time opting to stay in the orthodox position. Well, that's the third one we've seen, isn't it, where the batsman has aimed onside, not found the face of the bat as such. Right, it's good running. 7 from the over, 37 for 1 after 5.
Change of bowling from the river end. The new bowler, Andre Russell.
Balance at the start. This second innings. Time for a change in bowling. Andre Russell. Career best figures in the last game. Into the attack. Phil saw his ability to bat through the middle overs, I think, will be critical today for England with Butler's wicket early. Ian Bishop is alongside me. What a performance this was, Bish. 3 for 19 the other night at the Kensington Oval.
Yeah, great control, great understanding of what batters were trying to do at different points.
Just short, maybe, of Gudakesh Moti, who was at that deep mid-wicket position. He feels he missed out.
Two deep fielders out on the leg side. So they're asking batters, as Jason Holder did, ask them to hit into the wind. At least for the last over of power play and inside the power play.
And Will Jacks is so prolific through extra cover. Continues to be. Very good ball striking. There was one hit leg side, one hit offside. Similar line to what they persisted with against him in that first international. Alzarri Joseph was struck for a few sixes going wide of off stump, but stuck there, and they got him out playing that strong shot in the end. It's a risky plan, but...
Yeah, correct. I'd say you're correct in that it being risky. Sometimes bowlers who have great control and experience will bluff, but generally, where you've got your deep fielders is where you tend to err. So usually with this field, you'd think he'd go into the pitch, either pace off or pace on, with those two deep fielders lining the boundary, or bowl straight. Talk to a number of guys, they'll say, I don't want to be predictable, to do it all the time, cross seam.
Takes off. One thing that really stood out to me in that presentation when Robin Powell spoke to Yubish last game, didn't even seem fazed by the win. He was so determined and said, look, there are a lot of areas we need to improve in, and the power play bowling seemed to be the one at the forefront. understands the difficulty of battling in a T20 World Cup. So many good teams. Yeah, continues going wide, Andre Russell, but Phil Saul is just too good. 51 for 1 at the end of the power play.
Yeah, that's where we feel, I'll speak for myself, to use your words, Nikhil, it's a risky plan. Because it's outside off stump again with no one sweeping on that offside. So it's risk reward, and on this case, it's risk.
End of the power play. A strong start for England. Gudukesh Moti into his first game of the series.
Left arm round.
First time we were seeing him and Akil Hussain, the two left-arm spinners in the T20 squad. Saw it with England with two leg spinners. I wonder if this is a model that they can take forward to the T20 World Cup.
I think it gives them options. There are games when you're going to think, well, someone spinning the ball the other way is a matchup contrasting with a left-arm spinner. So I think a lot of these series and games going forward till that World Cup, with a slip going into play, you'd want to test different matchup.
Aerial just over Mears. And to build on that, Bish, I wonder then if there's any inclination to go to Matthew Ford at some point in this series because of the priority on taking power play wickets.
Definitely. And a little bit of grip and turn there for Gudukesh Moti to these two right-handers. He's such an excellent bowler. What makes him an excellent bowler? The ball before was slower, it spun, it gripped that delivery a little bit faster and into the pitch with Joseph getting loose, so he must be coming into the attack soon.
These multi-over is critical because remember, there's no Romario Shepherd today, who's been arguably the West Indies' best death bowler this year in T20 international cricket. So it places more emphasis on this man, Alzarri Joseph, being that enforcer that we've looked for many years. It's been expensive, but always been in the wickets in this format.
It's very good, Moti. We heard Brandon King in that wonderful interview with Stacey, and King said some deliveries are slow and low.
This time quicker. Excellent start for him in this series. Just 2 from the over, 53 for 1. The time for some extra pace. Alzarri Joseph outside the power play will have an important role without Romario Shepherd today.
And what's important for me to see, Nikhil, is I remember doing a little bit of analysis on him when the team went to South Africa and during the IPL, and mentioned it last game that his first overs, his initial over in T20 cricket this year, at one point they were going for like 10 point something or 11. So this first over has to try to be on the mark.
In that assessment, Bish, was it a case of maybe searching for a wicket-taking delivery or trying to assess the right length and then going for runs?
I believe a mixture of both. And some of his quick assessments of length, what is a good length, weren't spot on. He's dragged it back a little bit in recent times. But as Russell did the other night, quickly assess after delivery, 1 or 2, what is my best length depending on who I'm bowling against. And if I may stretch that a little bit, Nikhil, I'm seeing 3 deep fielders on the leg side. Boundary. So part of that is going to be going into the pitch, asking them to hit into that wind with the odd change-up with a deep third and a deep point.
Salt was caught at deep mid-wicket in that first game on the pull shot. It's a small margin of error because he's so strong on it, but it's into the wind as well. So he was playing with two advantages. This could be a chance. It is a chance taken superbly by Powell. The pull shot again to the detriment of Salt.
And very good bowling into the pitch, asking them to take on those three deep fielders leg side into the wind. That is routine for Ruffman Powell when he's at his best fielding capacity. Very smart bowling, good field setting, good catching. Salt goes for 25, 5 for 2.
Number 58.
A bit of X factor from England. Sam Curran walks in at number 4. Had a decent one international series with bat in hand. They do have Moeen Ali, who's batted at 3, 4, even 5 at times for England over the years, also a left-hander. Previously, the highest he had ever batted for England was number 5.
Simple things, little things, bowling straight, bowling into the pitch largely and bringing those deep fielders into play. It's good moving from Ruffman Powell and good captaincy. I think we perhaps don't talk enough about his excellent T20 captaincy.
Sure, again. What do you make of the move, Bish, to get Curran up the order? Oh, wide given late. Joseph would not be happy.
I would not want to be on the end of that steer. Curran is a shorty. I'm not sure what to make of it. I assume they're asking Curran to play a few strokes. To have a little bit of a dart, but Moeen Ali is one that usually has been able to come at 3 depending on which team he plays for and also play that role. So I'm going to sit back and see how it plays out. And you can ask Joss about it at the end of the game.
You understand the presence of the left-hander. No Duckett today. 2 left-arm spinners for the West Indies. But Ali's a left-hander as well. First time he went pace off in the over, Alzarri Joseph. Excellent start. 1 wicket, just 4 runs in the over. 5 runs correction, 58 for 2. We'll be hoping for a partnership. Moti continuing. I had a chat to Darren Sammy earlier today, Bish, and obviously we know, you look around the world, in the best teams, Australia, India, South Africa, all of them have a quality wrist spinner. Obviously England here as well. But Sammy mentioned that he is not too phased by that. They're not going to play a wrist spinner just for the sake of it because other teams are doing it. They have two bowlers who have been quality, have been competing against each other for years now, and both spin the ball away from the right-hander, similarly to what a leg spinner would do. So he reckons this could be the model going into that World Cup if they continue to bowl well.
I'll fill in the gaps in that explanation that I see. Some teams would have used a left-handed batter here against a left-handed spinner to try to go take him down, but he'll be hitting into whatever little wind that is if he gets the opportunity, Sam Curran.
Extra fielder in that leg side catching straight mid-wicket, joining extra cover.
Yeah, I don't blame Sammy for that thought. I wouldn't even bat a play a left-handed batter just because he's left-handed. Two right-handers dominated the West Indies batting effort, King and Powell. He's trying to take it on. If you've got A.B. de Villiers and Virat Kohli, for example, do you just say, no, A.B., you're not going in for the sake of a left-hander? No, you play your best quality. The only difference is that the left-arm spinner doesn't have that googly that a wrist spinner might have. But I'm all for it, playing your best bowling attack rather than lessening the quality just for the point of difference.
Fielded directly behind the stumps now, just behind, joining long off, long on. It's been a struggle thus far for Curran. 60 for 2 after 9. First time in 2 years we've had T20 international action at the National Cricket Stadium in beautiful Grenada. The West Indies have done well thus far. Will need to continue to make inroads with the power England possess. Joseph. Sam Curran has shown good pedigree with that pull shot. Couple of boundaries in this series already.
Yes, in the one-day international in Antigua, and then a little flourish, a little bit after that. But you can see why, because it's still an area that West Indies feel that he's susceptible, if there's a bowler with pace, to use that short ball against him.
Feels still has 3 deep leg side, long on, deep mid wicket, deep backward square. Mid off is in the circle. Is it too much of a risk, Bish? If you're going short, you know you're going short at Curran. Is it too risky to get long on in the circle, to be ultra aggressive?
No, I think you want your long on in position if you're going into the pitch, because if you're pulling, if he hits it over mid-off, it's okay, but I think you can still be aggressive because he just can't afford to duck and leave everything unless it's over shoulder height. He has to go at it, so long off, long on, mid-wicket and square leg are imperative.
Got him in the last game, Will Jacks. He could have him again. Hasn't got enough distance on it. And it's taken by Holder. Wells at long on.
It's one of the reasons why, as we were discussing, you need your long on in position if you're going to go into the pitch to a left-hander or right-hander. And again, smart bowling by Joseph. Make them hit to where you have set most of your deep fielders, and that is leg side. That wind isn't necessarily helping there, but the theory is right. Very good from West Indies. Jacks goes for 24, 65 for 3.
Time now for Blue Waters drinks break.
wonderful, pleasing shot with the rainbow as the backdrop coming through the valley and the hilly and volcanic terrain of Grenada, as is the case with islands like Dominica, like St. Vincent, very volcanic in its formation, the underwater life. Very pleasing, relaxing. And the UK visitors, of whom there are a lot who've come into Grenada, surely will enjoy. The spice is recovered from the dramas of the hurricane years ago. I was told this morning there's a new drive as Liam Livingston comes to the crease to plant a certain number of spice trees further into the island of Grenada to sort of rekindle the growth after the hurricane years ago.
Livingston comes ahead of Brook. They went to that wide fourth stump line a lot to him in that first game. Went pace off majority of the time.
But getting them to bowl straight and getting Alzarri to bowl straight and into that wind from that end is critical to your planning. Little things. Innings of two halves for the West Indies, 110 in their second half of their batting effort. Brilliant.
Saw it in the South Africa series. He went short a lot in this series as well, and today, Bish.
This type of bowler is gold in this format. A hard length bowler or someone who can be an enforcer in the middle overs of T20 cricket, even in 50 over cricket. And Alzarri Joseph is that. He can be used in different roles, new ball or middle overs enforcer. Today his middle overs bowling has been excellent.
Ends with a boundary. And no ball signaled.
For knocking the bails off at the non-striker's end. A ruling instituted a few years ago when Stephen Finn was guilty of doing it repeatedly. I think it might have been Graham Smith, the South African captain, who was partly one who voiced an opinion on it. So he'll be disappointed, one, with the length and line of the ball before, and now having to serve up a free hit.
Joseph bowled a few in that first game. Not hitting the stump, he was mainly going over that front line. So free hit delivery, can't change the field. 3 deep leg side. Nails the Yorker. Excellent finish. This has been a really good spell from Joseph thus far. 72 for 3.
So at the halfway stage, England 72 for 3. The not-out batsman Sam Curran on 12 from 9 balls and Liam Livingston on 1. Don't forget Team England trying to reach 177 for victory. At the halfway stage, 72 for 3.
Ten overs gone, 72 for 3. England in pursuit of 177. As they attempt to level the series, Godakish Moti, his first game, really economical so far. Starts off his 3rd over with a dot. And just as England have tried with their 2 wrist spinners, the West Indies, they are also trying with their 2 left-hand orthodox. Remember, the World Cup will be hosted here in the West Indies and the USA. T20 World Cup, that is, in about 6 months' time. And so both teams are still fine-tuning what their best combinations are. England are defending champions in that format. They also won the last time the T20 World Cup was played here. Only once it's been played in 2010. They were champions then. Mario Shepherd sitting out to the left of screen. Matthew Ford, the right of screen. What a debut he had in the ODI format. And Sherfin Rutherford in the middle. Hoping to see a couple of those featuring during the course of this 5-match series. Stacey and King alongside me. Stacey, and comprehensive win for West Indies in game 1. They seem to be on the verge of another. What has impressed you the most from them so far?
Hello, Samuel. Yeah, I think the option of bringing in that extra spinner. The batting has been good. Talk about spin and just look at that delivery from Gudakesh Moti. A few deliveries have really stuck in the pitch for the spinners. Caught a few leading edges that landed safely. But he had just been able to bat first and put on a target for West Indies, that of 176. I think that was important, ticking off boxes that they can move forward with. And yeah, the inclusion of the other spinner.
Yeah, and he's showing all his skill with his changes of pace, Moti. Yeah, just 3 runs from that Gudakesh Moti over 11 done, 75 for 3. Yeah, this is the lineup, teams that have qualified for the T20 World Cup to be hosted in the West Indies and USA. A lot of the familiar faces and names, and a few new ones as well. Africa qualifiers: Namibia and Uganda, no Zimbabwe. Ireland, Scotland, PNG, Nepal, Oman, Canada. And of course, the top 8 finishers from the 2022 T20 World Cup, along with Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Those are the teams. Andre Russell, expensive first over, in for his second. He's played that shot with a certain level of productivity. Sam Curran, that pull shot, Russell has protection there. We spoke about that slower ball in game 1 at the Kensington Oval. Expect to see him go to that. And for the right-hander, they'll be hitting into a slight wind, maybe a little bit of a bigger side as well. Here, Grenadians in the house. The locals are here. Yeah, that was crunch. The sound of the bat. And something to behold in the gap, and gets the 4.
They timed that to perfection. A short delivery, really held up in the pitch from Andre Russell. And pulled away nicely.
Yeah, not many teams in the world game can compare to the West Indies when it comes to power hitting, when they're unsung, that is. West Indies, in terms of sixes, 13 in their innings. 2 is the call. Gets 4. Really good placement. So we've seen the power in the previous delivery. And this was more finesse from Livingston.
And 9 runs already from the over. Has got back into position and guided that delivery. Edmire had no chance. Yeah, pulled for the first, nicely guided for the second.
Wow. 4-4-6. The best of the lot so far in the over. Expensive first over follows up similarly expensive.
Giving a bit of a taste of his own medicine, Andre Russell. Liam Livingston pulling this one, already getting 2 fours from the over and picking up a 6 this time. Total rushes on to 90.
The manual scoreboard, the guys there might be seeking refuge after that last shot. I mentioned before that not many players in the world and teams in the world can compare with the West Indies in terms of power hitting. One of those players, though, is Liam Livingston. 16 from 6, it doesn't matter where those fielders are on the leg side. That's the worrying thing from a West Indian standpoint. That's where you want him to hit, and he's hitting them out of the park. A couple 4s and a 6. So as a captain, you're thinking now. Change of length. Haven't seen that Yorker delivery often enough throughout those 2 games so far. Teams have opted, bowlers have opted for slower deliveries into the surface, back of a length. I just wonder if it's a confidence thing. Smashed it in front of square, guided through the offside and then hit for 6. Liam Livingston in full flight. Crunched again. The sound of the bat is so sweet. Andrew Russell taken to the cleaners, and that over 22 is what he conceded. 97 for 3.
Now this is excellent from Sam Curran, the left-handed batter, pulling into the leg side. Yeah, up a couple steps, but the connection was on point. 22 from that Russell over.
Now that last over from Andrew Russell, where he conceded 22, more expensive than his entire spell in game 1. He conceded 19. 3 for 19 is what he got in game 1. Second over went for 22. Moti for his final over. Now just look at what Gudakesh Moti has been able to do. In his final over, only conceded 7 runs so far. So he's brought a certain level of control through the middle overs. Economy 2.21. High. Who wants it? Rovman Powell wants it. Rovman Powell takes it. So the pressure that he's been creating finally brings some reward. And the dangerous Liam Livingston. Moti is over the moon.
Yeah, he's varied his pace quite well. He's bowled well. Gudakesh Moti, economy rate just above 2. Livingston trying to take him on. Brilliant catch from Rovman Powell once again. Moti gets the breakthrough and the captain is happy. Livingston goes for 17 from 9. It's 97 for 4.
He needed from 46 deliveries. Harry Brook makes his way out to the crease. Now look at that strike rate. Very, very impressive. More and more you see batters with strike rates 140 and above. They'll need something special from him. Gudakesh Moti picked up his first T20 international wicket. Important strike for him and for the West Indies. Only once before has Harry Brook batted in that number 6 position. So England trying a few things.
Yeah, this was the wicket of Leah Livingston. Advanced to make connection, but made more height. It took some catching. It was good from Powell.
Yeah, Rahman Powell at the toss indicated that the only reason why Gudakesh Moti is in the playing 11 was because of the injury due to Romario Shepherd. And so he's really grabbed the whole of this opportunity in T20Is. It's been a magical performance from Moti so far. And I want to see what they do in game 3. If they continue with these two. Mario Shepherd, as Rahman Powell mentioned, precautionary, just a niggle. They don't want to take any chances. But his countryman has bowled a really special spell. 1 for 9 from 4, his first T20 international wicket, and being applauded by his teammates. 99 for 4.
Gudakesh Moti's 4 overs, 9 runs, 1 wicket.
5 bowlers used. West Indies, Joseph picking up 2 for 16 from 2. Moti's figures 1 for 9 from 4. Stand out.
Yeah, the two spinners, Moti and Hussain, picking up 1 wicket apiece. Hussain has 1 over remaining. Hold up for his third. Brings up the 100 for England. Thought about 2 momentarily. 56 dots when West Indies batted 33 dots for England so far. The difference, though, and has been the difference in the first game as well. The sixes that the West Indies are able to hit. 13 in this game, 14 in game 1. England only managing 3 so far, and they only managed 6 in game 1. Yeah, those guys have quite a task. For much of the game, they've been looking into the sun, the manual scorers that is, but they're keeping up with every run that is scored. He wants to make a change in field, sends his short third back to the boundary. Long off the mid-off. Yes, the second of 5 T20Is. The West Indies looking to take a 2-0 series lead. The third match will be played right here in a couple days' time, and then we round things off in Tarouba, Trinidad. On 4th and 5th. Fans who are in Grenada can purchase their tickets for that third game. And of course, those in Trinidad can go to the box office to get theirs. Or they can even buy them from the comfort of their homes through the online means. Fans with a Caribbean-issued MasterCard can log on to windiescricket.com and avail themselves of a 20% discount. And don't miss out on the opportunity. West Indies, they need your support. They've been doing well in recent times. Won that T20 International Series in South Africa. Won the series in the West Indies against India. And a healthy start in this one.
Won't mind just 3 runs from this over thus far. Jason Holder has been good. Even though he's gone for 21, he's used his variations as well, taking pace off.
Have a look at the bowlers used so far from Rahman Powell. Just the 5. But look at Andrew Russell's figures. 2 for 36. Only 1 dot delivery. Does he go to someone else for an over? Or does he rely on Russell for those remaining 2? Wide, belatedly signaled by the umpire. He thought about it and decided it was too wide. Yeah, West Indian fans with their Grenadian flags, their memorabilia, their t-shirts. Love to see that. And the young ones out as well. Those are the future of West Indies cricket. Those young boys and girls, wherever you may be. Just cost some single that wide. 72 from 36 needed. 105 for 4.
Another 72 runs needed from 36 balls. They've had 2 pretty good partnerships within Phil Jackson, Phil Salt 46 and Liam Livingston and Curran 32. Got to get going. They've got to get some boundaries. Can it be broken current?
Returning from the now accuracy.
Yeah, no one really got going for England. And so their required run rate is quite high at the moment. They need 12 runs and over. Only going at 7.5. Akhil Hussain for his final over. Does Curran try to take him on? You heard Nicholas Puran say, well bowled Akhil. That was outside of the wide line, but that's where he wants Curran to score because the left-hander will try to take him on leg side. Maybe a change of plan for the right-handed Brook. Ask him to hit to his offside. What field does he have? He has the sweeper on the boundary, a long off, long on, and deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. Fielders inside asked to cut a single.
A chance at the non-striker and needed a direct hit. Come through for the second, but it could have been closer.
Good stuff, Moti. Brandon!
Yeah, picked up by Moti and a good attempt. A good switch of hands as well because it's his left hand that he threw it.
In there. Will be taken, will it? Yes, comfortably pouched. Good bowling from Akhil Hussain, changed his pace up, got the line that he was looking for and asked him to hit in that direction. Alzarri Joseph completed the catch, and that's the end of Harry Brook.
You're forcing him to play on the offside because of the field set and the line he's bowling. Akhil Hussain to the right-handers. Didn't quite get all of it, made a lot of height. Enough for Alzarri Joseph to run around and take the catch. Brook goes for 5, it's 108 for 5.
108 for 5, still requiring another 69 runs for victory. In 33 balls.
Moeen Ali brought in for this contest in at number 7. Another one of those batters with a strike rate over 140. Many more innings for him, so he's done really well throughout the course of his T20 international career. They need something inspirational, England. 69 from 33 West Indies, and a very strong position, looking for another clinical victory. Starts off with a straight line to the new batter. Interesting to see what he does to Sam Curran if he goes to that wide line. This is the wicket. Outside off stump. Pulled back his length. Alzarri Joseph had to make some ground to his right. And then he got there comfortably. He's still trying to go through with the shot, even though he wasn't to the pitch of the delivery. Didn't have much choice, did Harry Brook. The required run rate well over 12. Now that's a line he's looking for Curran.
They're picking up pretty good figures, 2 for 23. Best figure, still a ball to go, so can still make better of that.
Yeah, his top 3 best performances with the ball against England. And that's the end of Akil Hussain. 2 wickets for 24 from his spell. A very strong performance from him. 67 from 13, needed 110 for 5.
The impressive Alzarri Joseph with 2 for 16 returns to the attack. It was a little more expensive than he would have liked in that first game, although he picked up wickets. Can he continue the good work? Could be 4 that. It's 4. So it's proving to be a strong area for Sam Curran.
Yeah, just gets enough of it. Gets the placement spot on as well, just a little bit short. No real bounce in that. Bisects those two perfectly.
Yeah, Robin Powell has moved from cover and now he's going into a leg side position, not finalized yet. Now he's changed his mind now. He's coming back across to the right of your screen. I don't think Joseph wanted the field holder, actually wanted Powell to do it, and then Joseph perhaps said no. Latched onto it. So I think it was pace off, but again, too full. And Sam Curran played it magnificently.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Yeah, fingers over the top of the ball, but just that bit of width that opens up those shoulders, opens up those arms, and beautifully struck. So in the end, it didn't matter where that man moved to, whether Powell moved onside or back to his position on the offside. Alzarri Joseph didn't miss by much there, but that's all it takes.
Yeah, so what's going to happen here now is Alzarri going to go full and wide because the wind is coming off the offside boundary into leg from right to left to Curran. So with that deep point going out in addition to long off and cover, are they going to go wide and across Sam Curran? They do that. And that is one of the things, folks, and David, you know this as well as anyone with the plethora of T20 cricket. They will be learning, these little ones, when the wind is coming off one boundary, try to get them as best as you can to hit it into that wind.
Yeah, for sure. And also try and cut down the options. So this immense width, it's extreme width, gives you more chance of covering it. Yes, if someone gets a great bat on it, there's still enough gaps there to pierce, but they're just trying to cut down the options. That change of pace does it as well. So in the same line, different pace, different tempo of the swing. And despite the 6, I mean, okay, right, 10 off the first 2, a couple of dot balls. Okay, it's 10 off the over. They need, what, 13, over 13 per over from here on in. So these last 2 balls now become key. I love it.
We love the chess game of T20. Know what Sam's options are. Some guys will jump across to off stump. He doesn't. Chance? No. Lands safely.
Ooh. Yeah, it didn't really go either one way or the other here. Full swing of the bat, yes. Big outside edge loops. If one of those men had called maybe a bit more decisively, one of them could maybe have made more of an effort to get to it. Probably Carl Mayers, I'd suggest, because the man coming in normally has the better chance. You can see the ball all the way. It's easier to judge coming in to meet it.
Yeah, gone wide off again. 1-2-1 for 5.
Well, given the circumstances, West Indies and Alzarri Joseph will take 11 off the over. Just those comparisons, the various phases of the game. Right, whatever's happened beforehand, England still need 56 in 24 balls. That's a required rate of 14 per over. Now, Russell has gone for 36 from his first two. So between Curran and Moeen Ali, they might think he is one they might take advantage of. One of the reasons that Andre Russell is back in this West Indies team is that immense experience in this form of the game. It all showed very nicely in that first game in Barbados, where he turned out to be the player of the match. Whatever he's done already this afternoon needs to be forgotten, because a tidy over here will really put the pressure on.
I think he might go full and wide of off stump, or certainly wide of off stump again. Six of them, great way to start the over. For Sam Curran, this is proving to be could be a decisive innings. He picked that up nicely.
Just get the feeling that Andre Russell forgot all that experience, because that was pretty much what Sam Curran wanted. Nice length, the sort of length you can get underneath the ball, and it wasn't as wide of off stump as you were suggesting it should be and might be. Fine shot, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, with that field, he needed to be wide, as we rightly discussed. Now they've changed the field, so now they're pushing a deep square leg back in addition to mid-wicket and long on. So it gives him added protection to he could possibly go Yorker at leg stump or into the pitch. But with two deep fielders offside, another couple of options. He goes leg stump, well tickled, 10 in the first two for Sam Curran. 46 needed for England.
Well, one thing that's always been said about Sam is that he is a competitor, and he is using his experience now. He might be the younger man by some distance, but he's outguessed Russell here, because that little shuffle across the stumps, the straightening of the line from Russell, just gives him that opportunity, and with the long leg up on the edge of the circle, that tickle was more than enough. So great start to the over for Curran in England, 10 from those first two balls. Now what, Andre? Now what?
Execute better. Neither of those first two deliveries were good execution.
Well, a little better from Russell. We just also have the feeling Yeah, sensible from Curran. Yeah, 6 and a 4 the first 2 balls, 11 from 3. It's already a good over, but they need more. But you've got the feeling that you've got to press against the man who is looking more vulnerable. Given that after this, the remaining 3 overs, well, there are still people who'll be susceptible maybe to the pressure, but you want to try and make those inroads, I would say, now. Absolutely now.
Quad rate at the start of the over was 14, so they've gone 12 with 2 balls to come. Chris Wokes to come, Rehan Ahmed, Adil Rashid, Timal Mills, if needed.
Well, the rules, I mean, the cliches in this game are ever true. The man who's in, Sam Curran, who's going well. If they're going to do it, if they're going to get there, so much relies on him.
That will be a first half century in T20 internationals for Sam Curran. Coming in a little bit earlier today than
So that's 50.
recently.
Sam Curran of 31 balls in 46 minutes.
And that's come at a strike rate of 161, which is
4 balls
important.
and 3 sixes.
Absolutely. Very good for him. That's a personal milestone, which is irrelevant, I'm sure, to him and the team. It's a stepping stone because, as I say, here's the man in, he's the man set. If you're going to get close or past the winning post, it's down to him.
So I was wondering, go back to the conversation, where is the Yorker gone? That's a good one. 1, 3, 4 for 5.
It would be fascinating, wouldn't it, to analyse the numbers between Yorkers, genuine Yorkers, successful Yorkers, and attempted Yorkers, which have gone to places the bowlers didn't want. Good finish to the over then from Andre Russell. Nonetheless, those first couple of balls still costly.
Right, a chance for you to bid for one of these West Indies shirts as worn in this series. One of your heroes, you can bid for that. You scan the QR code on screen, download the app, matchwornshirt.com for your chance to win a piece of West Indies history. Joseph, will he go wide of off again? He does. It's out there. It should be taken. It's a chance. It's taken. Shades on for Akeal Hosein as he looks into the sun as it goes down. Again today, Alzarri bowling to a plan, which is important.
Yeah, he made it hard. He made it hard for Sam Curran there. Got underneath it, couldn't get enough bat on it this time. Cool, calm and collected. And it's Hosein who does indeed collect the catch that might well have dashed England's hopes. It's a great 50 from 32, but England needed Sam Curran to stay there. 134 for 6, 17.1 overs.
I know you're feeling pain, but trust me, my friend, things go nice again, it must again. Good vibes is the aim, yes, it is the aim. You know what I'm saying? So come music must make me unite again. Cause me on
Two elder statesmen now at the crease. Chris Wokes replacing Curran and Moeen Ali. But I must say, the way that Joseph and Powell have communicated with their planning all day for all 3 of his wickets bowling straight to the right-handers, getting them to hit into the wind to the right and left-handers is beautiful.
Yeah, we saw earlier in the day communications, ironically, between Sam Curran and Jos Buttler, which didn't seem to work. You know, if there was a plan, I'm afraid Sam Curran with the ball didn't implement it. If there wasn't the right plan, then that goes back to Jos Buttler. I mean, these plans are always lovely when they work. Any captain, any bowler will tell you, yes, we're trying to do that. trying to make it hard. The catching has been good again.
Yeah, and this was just to bowl straight to him, bowl into the pitch with 3 deep fielders set back, and again they're caught by Holder. It's a simple plan. I thought Curran missed it in Antigua in the ODI. But today, Joseph, who went for a few in the first game, such is the nature of T20 cricket, has come back strong today with his planning, length and execution with line. Well, you'll have to take that, because again he stuck to his plan of trying to go across Moeen Ali, but that was struck phenomenally well.
Yeah, you see the width just inside the red line. But Moeen is a great timer of the ball. So it gets just the balance is right there, just rocks back a little bit to get the elevation. And those hands work really well. And if Moeen can do that, well, several more times, again, England can stay in this contest. But at the moment, you've got the feeling that West Indies had the better plans.
Goodness me! Well, he's destroyed that plan with these 2 shots from Moeen Ali. Obviously greater and more adept at hitting over the offside into the wind.
Well, I'm not too proud to eat my words. That was a fantastic shot. So the anticipation, just that little shimmy across to get closer to that width, and the execution from Moeen Ali. I mean, that is just timed beautifully. We've seen some power hitters in this game today. You know, Rodman Powell, for instance, as the power hitter of the West Indies today, has the muscles that make it easier. Moeen Ali needs that timing to get that ball to carry.
You know, you've got your plans, and then sometimes a couple of shots like that sort of belittles your plan. Same field. Change of length.
Yeah, one of the outstanding things earlier was the way that Rodman Powell rescued the last part of the innings for West Indies by hitting the ball consistently well and consistently fast. So you get a couple of great shots, as we've seen. And the last couple of overs, we've had 4s and 6s, 1-4, 1-6 each time round. And it is certainly a step in the right direction. But Rodman Powell, he will add another one. And that's the question now for England. Can they make these strikes, get these strikes in, but add an extra one in just to take a little bit of the demand out of the equation.
Dot ball, so Holder and Russell have overs available. Who will it be? 1 4 6 for 6.
Yeah, and there's the proof in the end, because yeah, Woke's coming in, tough for him, and he's got to get going rapidly, very, very quickly. And that over from Alzarri Joseph goes for 12. So you had the 4 and the 6, but you had the wicket, the 1, the 1 and the dot. And that 12 keeps that asking rate up above 15s.
Last over sort of just discolored the final figures of Alzarri Joseph, and he smacked his cap into his leg as he took his cap from the umpire, because he didn't quite. I suppose you have to give credit to Moeen Ali as well. Now it's Jason Holder.
Live cricket action, West Indies versus England.
Well, Jason Holder might feel a bit of this pressure. 3 overs, none for 24.
That hurts. Holder's non-plus now. Just David with this plan. Coming round the wicket. Now, knowing Holder weird enough, he'll say, I have the option of bowling straight and asking them to hit into the wing leg side with 3 deep fielders, but he doesn't want them only predicting that line. So he's got 2 deep fielders offside, straight on the boundary as an option. There's one of them.
Yeah, you'll feel that Moeen Ali needed more than that. I mean, this cat and mouse thing, you know, the positioning of the batsman, the footwork to get in position. There were 3 men, square or behind square, on one on the edge of the circle. So you think, well, can you take the risk? Can you somehow get way inside the potential line and somehow squeeze it down in that area? But this is where someone like Jason Holder needs to hold his nerve and just keep it up there so that someone like Moeen Ali can't do that. So first ball goes for 1, advantage Holder.
Moeen thought it was in the slot. He slapped himself with the bat on his leg after he hit it. Hetmyer should keep it to 1. He does.
Yeah, it's so much a case of whatever's happened earlier, it's all down to these last 2 overs. Still 29 needed. I mean, these things in the modern game are doable. Sometimes sides make it ridiculously easy or look ridiculously easy, but this is a tough ask now for England.
Very good. There's that Yorker I've been mentioning from the start of play. Hard to nail consistently, but executed then.
Yeah, that's a good one. Closed down all options. So all that Moeen could do was just get bat on ball, squeeze it out, get the 1.
Depending on how this over goes, Russell is of the bowlers used the man with an over available. None for 49 from 3. Very good from Jason Holder. Experience and skill again with that Yorker.
Yeah, I'm a great believer in the penultimate over being so important. If you have an expensive penultimate, doesn't matter who's bowling at the end, if it's, you know, within, say, 10 to win or fewer. If you have an over like this, which is shaping up, I'm not going to speak too soon, I hope, but it's 4 balls for 3 runs. If you squeeze one of these in, then it makes the ask of that final over so much harder, much more harder.
Down to Hetmyer, who's been catching well this series, and he continues in that fashion. And Jason Holder has been brilliant in this over.
Yeah, England needed someone with a little bit more power than this. Not quite timed, but if you're going up and over, you need to get more distance than that. Hetmyer has been very good in the field. He's not made many runs, he's been out of form, out of luck with the runs, but in the field, he's not put a foot wrong. Chris Woakes goes for 2. England struggling, 7 down for 149, 7 balls left.
Rehan Ahmed comes to the crease. He was taken to task in his last couple of overs today as well. But it's been instructive for me watching the communication between Holder, former captain, and Rovman Powell. The planning to change the length up from Yorker to into the pitch at Woakes. West Indies continue to catch well.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, Woakes needed quicker hands there. You see some of the guys who've been hitting these 6s earlier in the day from at the top of the order for West Indies, Brandon King, Carl Mayers, Powell himself, Russell, and they get quick hands through.
Remarkable over, just 3 off it and the wicket. 149 for 7.
Well, as I said, nice to be borne out for once. If you get a good penultimate over in those circumstances, and Holder very much up for it there, very, very skillful. If you get one of those overs in, well, the pressure really is now on, because England, from the final over of this match, need 19. Not impossible, but in no way easy.
Love your point about the penultimate over as a reminder about that principle. England did not adhere to it when Sam Curran in that first game, I think it was, bowled the penultimate over, and he was the most profligate on that day. Now, Russell, what's your plan based on the field set? Long off, long on in play. Deep extra cover. And to the left of screen previously, a deep, wide third. So that means that he will perhaps try to go wide of off stump, occasionally off of the most of the over. No, he goes in the slot. Again, he's missed. I'm guaranteeing you he's missed his line, not so much the length. And Ali had that little shuffle across. Brilliant way to start the over.
It's a fantastic shot, given everything, given the circumstances, the situation. Just had enough. It was pretty full there. But Moeen Ali just had enough there to get underneath it. And again, it's the timing that gives you the distance.
It wasn't wide enough. That's a little bit wider, and Ali does not take the run. I go back to something Dwayne Bravo always says. He says if you're going to operate to this plan, sometimes you're better off erring on the side of bowling a wide rather than getting too close, erring too close to the batter with this speed.
.22 needed from 4 balls. It's all on Moeen Ali's shoulders. He's taken the choice there not to take the one. He's kept the strike.
Had the length on it, the line again could be wider, but one good delivery perhaps seals it. And does seal it.
Ooh, that was hittable. That was hittable. Even 4, yeah, even 4 there, with that line, that length, would have been mighty handy.
So unless there are no balls and wides, 22 required from 3. And that should be the end of that. So in the end, Russell, after being hit for 6 of that first ball, has come back strong. And that should be that for the West Indies, and Powell to take a 2-0 series lead.
Yep, just avoid the obvious pitfalls.
It's an incredible shot to go all the way for 6 from Rehan Ahmed, but too little, too late, barring any calamities of illegal deliveries.
Well, tried to say it when they took the option not to take the single second ball. Who knows? It's one of those wonderful ifs and buts that in the end are meaningless.
It's Russell's most expensive figures in T20 internationals. So that will go for another boundary, but again, too little, too late, and Rovman Powell and the West Indies take a 2-0 series lead in this 5-match T20I series.